Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Jeff. I feel like I haven't seen you in so long. It's nice to. I know I see you on Zoom, but I want to see you in person sometime. I miss
Well,
you.
we gotta work on that, Dana. So
I know. I'm just letting you know. I know. I'm on the same page with you.
yeah.
Hi, everybody.
We have a lot of new parents. Hi, everyone. And Santana, another SDSU alum.
Oh my gosh, Dr. Hall, another San Diego State. That makes us a square. We were a triangle when we started. Now we're a square, Santana.
A lot of SDSU love today. People are still joining.
Hi, Carol.
Yay, so glad she can make it. Awesome.
Oh,
Okay. Hi, Carol.
still smiling from yesterday. I'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Be ready to share, okay? But I'm not going to do it yet.
Okay, I'm on my phone, not at home, so I'll try my best, but I wanted to be
Yeah.
a part of this. Okay.
I know, no problem. So exciting.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then great.
Okay, but we'll wait a little bit. We'll let Rebecca
Okay.
do this. Get us kicked off.
Yes, I will go ahead and start since we have most everybody here. And then, of course, hello to everyone at home as well. For those of you who are new, a couple Zoom rules that we say at every Lunch and Learn. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking. We recommend speaker view for presentation. Video sharing is optional, though we love to see all of your smiling faces. And please type any questions or comments into the chat. We will have the last 10-15 minutes or so with as a Q&A with our guest speakers. So you can feel free to unmute yourself, ask any questions then, or you can type them into the chat. And I'll make note of that throughout the whole presentation, and we'll be able to read them off for you during the Q&A. But we definitely welcome you to unmute yourself and talk with our speaker. That's our favorite part of the Zoom call today. So our Lunch and Learns. A quick update from Autism Tree. We have now, since the pandemic first hit San Diego in March of 2020, we started tracking all of our social media numbers and our impact, since we had a huge spurt of growth online and have been able to reach people on a global scale. Since March of 2020, we have now reached over 681,000 people across all of our social media channels. We do everything. We're on, LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, we have 81 Lunch and Learns recorded. We record these every single week and post them, upload them every Friday. So we have 81 recordings that you can go back and watch. We highly recommend. They're great resources. Dana and I share them out every week. We have featured a different guest speaker every week. Since January of this year, we've already coordinated 81 family events for our children and families. They're community-based. We're all over San Diego County. We have a lot of programs and services that we offer for all of our kids. We have 50 events on our calendars, on Facebook calendars, or our website calendar that you can check out for what's coming up. If you can also reach out to me directly, and I can recommend some upcoming events for you. We offer 19 programs virtually and 7 are now in person. So we have our USD baseball and football player mentor programs that are happening in person in the fall and the spring. Right now our summer programs, our Bridge to the Beach program is back and in person as well, where we pair our kids with the San Diego Junior Lifeguards, and many, many more in person. Lego play group, musical play group, lots of fun things for our families that happen every week. We host about 2 to 5 events every week, either virtually or in person, or a combo. So reach out to me if you have any questions. We now have 457 videos on our YouTube channel that you can refer back to as resources, or just ideas of fun things to do at home with your kid, especially now that summer is coming up. We have a lot of kids at home. If you're looking for ideas of craft ideas, we have so many, hundreds of videos. I recommend our HPF at home video playlist on our YouTube channel that has, we've now posted 396 videos, which are all been submitted by volunteers and professionals and parent mentors, telling us what works for them, fun activities that they do at home. We've been posting all throughout the pandemic. So shout out and gratitude to all of those amazing people who have submitted videos to us. A special thank you to our Lunch and Learn sponsor, CalAble. They have been so gracious to sponsor these Lunch and Learns this year. CalAble is a financial savings and investment state program that helps you save money. There's their link to their website. We'll also send this out in a recap email to everyone who registered today, as well as our whole network. If you have any questions about CalAble, you can just reach out to us or refer back to our Lunch and Learn. We just had one last 2 weeks ago. And these are their CalAble ambassadors that they just launched as well. These are parents who are parents of children with autism or adults with autism who have speak about their experience using CalAble in their lives and how it's been able to help them in their lives. So that's a few. For the sake of time, I'll include these in the recap email and you can feel free to watch them on your own time. They're all really short, usually only 1 to 2 minutes. And I wanted to do a little birthday shout out to Karen Wright. I don't know if Karen is on today. Karen, are you here? Nope, I don't think I see her. Well, happy birthday to Karen. She's our director of ministry. And she has been with Autism Tree since we were founded 19 years ago in 2003. Her birthday was yesterday. So lots of love to Karen. And then I'll just pass it off to Dana if you want to say anything about Karen, and she'll also introduce our guest speaker today.
Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, we don't normally do birthday shouts on a Lunch and Learn, but Karen kind of breaks the mold. We do not know simply what we would do without her. She is our angel that has been there for probably most of us that have been with the foundation for a long time. Whenever someone is going through something very challenging, whether it's their health or loss of a loved one, Karen is our director of ministry. She has a gift. It really doesn't matter what religion someone is. She is behind us every day, and the amount of people that we ask her to call on a monthly basis to be there and pray with them and encourage them cannot be overstated. So that is why we're giving a special birthday love to her today. And also, I wanted to say that I know Karen was helping us, as so many of you were. Yesterday was absolutely a historical day in the autism neurodiverse world. San Diego led the charge for our country. This is groundbreaking for our city and hopefully will be implemented throughout our country. I want to share 2 things that touched me, and then I'm going to ask Carol to share whatever she'd like, and Rebecca as well, because once again, history was made yesterday. So many things touched me. You can see the video that Garrett did when he spoke to the supervisors who were voting yesterday on this legislation. But when the supervisor Tara Lawson-Raymer spoke, I absolutely felt exactly the way she did when Garrett was diagnosed. I went all the way back to 20 years ago. The foundation is 20 years old. See my shirt? I'm loving this shirt. It's a new Autism Tree shirt, serving one family at a time since 2003. And I just really respect that the supervisor shared her story as a mom, and that certainly is a catalyst for this new legislation. It also meant a lot to me when Nathan Fletcher said that Maria Shriver had asked him to meet and hire Jay. And we got to meet Jay yesterday. He's been working for Nathan Fletcher's office for 4 years. He's fantastic. I just liked so many things that came out about Jay yesterday. I know you'll all love meeting him. Then there was another Brian Lafferty, and he was leading this legislation with the group. He's been with the county 9 years. He might be their first neurodiverse employee with autism. And he was fantastic and spoke also with a number of people to the supervisors that were voting yesterday. And it meant a lot to me to be a San Diegan and see that our county already actually had two county workers that have been there a long time and feel very empowered and very respected. And I love seeing that. That's where it needs to be, is like, we want to see that in mass quantity. And that's what this legislation is. It's mass quantity. There's 20,000 San Diego County employees. And this legislation is going to make it so that it's a big initiative, much like what we saw SAP led the way in the corporate world doing. And so it was just phenomenal to be part of it. And there were over 800 e-comments. And certainly the supervisor's office, Tara Lawson-Raymer, they said about 600 of those they know were Autism Tree family. So I couldn't be more proud. And I have to say, Garrett worked tirelessly, as you probably got emails and texts and calls from him. And I was working behind Garrett to give him all of your names and numbers. And I just feel so blessed by all of it. And I'd love to pass it to Carol and say, Carol, it meant so much to be there with you as a mother, not just the executive director of Autism Tree. I told Garrett yesterday, in all honesty, I was there really taking in, because Rebecca's leading Autism Tree, director of operations. I didn't even get a certificate, and that was okay with me, because I was there honestly watching my son Garrett. He's always loved politics. And then Carol was there with her son Andrew, and everything Carol said, and having Andrew sitting next to me was there's not really words I could say, Carol, other than just say how blessed I am by it, and to let you share anything you'd like with everybody.
Well, Dana, it was amazing all the work that Garrett and the Autism Tree Project Foundation, along with the Board of Supervisors, my background's in government and politics, and this is the first time that we actually, could speak on something that really has to do with my own family with neurodivergence. And I was so impressed with how the Board of Supervisors handled everything. It meant a lot to me that Andrew was there, especially he was proud of me, because I think for a lot of kids and teens, they come into their own as to how they want to be identified. And I think Andrew said, that was really good, Mom. Like, I'm glad, this is really interesting. I'm glad, I like the speeches. And it meant a lot to me. It also meant a lot to me that San Diego took the initiative, and the county did, and that this is like a dream for me, because I worry, having a college student who is so capable, what's going to happen after. And the fact that, the state is probably going to be looking at this, and then eventually our federal government. I mean, it's just, we're leading the way. And thank you, everyone who did so much work. I was honored to be a part of this day. And I look forward to working more on so many different areas with Autism Tree Project Foundation and all of you.
Thank you, Carol. It's mutual. Got nothing but love for you and your family. Rebecca, I'd love you to share. I know Rebecca, with our board member Phil Sensical and Garrett, they all, and Michelle McGowan, were incredibly involved from the beginning with pushing this legislation. So Rebecca, I'd love you to share too.
Sure. It was such a powerful day and moving, and we were so honored to be invited to work with Supervisor Lawson-Raymer's office and team, and a lot of other autism organizations in San Diego who care about autism, to spearhead and really have an impact on this legislation. It was incredible. If you're on our email list, you probably saw we did a big blast last Friday that encouraged people to submit e-comments, and they had over 860 e-comments in support, which is the most e-comments in favor of any agenda item in the entirety of Supervisor Lawson-Raymer's tenure. So we're like setting records, and it was incredible to hear all of both autistic individuals and parents and professionals all come and speak and represent the autism community. And it was very, powerful and something that I'll always remember. So like Dana and I talk about, Autism Tree has been around since 2003. We raised the first generation of kids. Now we're looking towards what are we going to do to support them into the workforce. So this was definitely history in the making. First ever public neurodiversity workforce initiative ever implemented in a city. So yay, congrats to everyone. And I'm excited to keep everyone in the loop about what we're going to continue to do at Autism Tree.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's perfect timing that I get to introduce Dr. Hall today. On the pre-call, I always tell you guys how much I enjoy that. Having that little time with the speaker, and I'm considering this a huge blessing today. First, just that I went to San Diego State, and it just means a lot that Rebecca also did, and Dr. Hall, and now Santana's on here too, and big part of our Autism Tree team and family. And so we've got a little San Diego State square here going today, and it kind of feels very special. And the other thing is, we're gearing up as a family to move Garrett to Durham, North Carolina, and we're hugely blessed by it, but it just feels like a big step. I'm quite grateful that Garrett invited me to go when he checked out Duke. And so I've been there once. And then on the pre-call, it turns out Dr. Hall is doing all this work in North Carolina. And I just feel so blessed by it, because everything that I do, as long as I'm here, is going to be organic. That is how I am as a person. I will not force things, and I'm not going to let other people force things on me. That's something I've really working on, and it's happened. It took half a century, but I'm not going to be forced into something for Autism Tree. I'm going to stay pure, and it's all about the families. It's all about being organic in terms of things happen the way they're supposed to. And I know that Dr. Hall and I were meant to meet. And now it just seems that we're going to be meeting and doing more, because whenever I travel somewhere, I always end up having a reason that I get involved with autism there. It happened to me on the East Coast too, Dr. Hall. And I'm still very involved with everyone, including Jeff, who's here from Massachusetts. So I just feel so thankful that every day Autism Tree grows, but it grows organically. And since Dr. Hall and I met, I told her that day, like, I absolutely feel a heart connection to her. And like, I wanted her and Rebecca and I to do a Zoom call. And then it grew from there. And now it's, she's got 3 more people she wants to have come and meet you all on a lunch and learn. And I don't know, Dr. Hall, if anyone is teed up at a pre-call and said, I have 2 more people I want to come on your lunch and learn. And I love that. I think that's fantastic. And I think it just says so much about you and why I'm so connected to who you are and how you roll. So everyone on this Lunch and Learn, Dr. Hall, has been together since before the schools closed in the pandemic. And some of you might be new, but the Lunch and Learn has been going on as a way to stay connected as a community. And we are not stopping because we get to see people that are local, but also not local, like Jeff and other friends from the East Coast and all over. So, and then it just turns out that this is a huge resource. We use these Lunch and Learns all the time with families. If there's a topic that is coming up that we think our Lunch and Learn can help them on, we are always using our Lunch and Learns. This is our 82nd Lunch and Learn today. And I just want to thank everyone who's been involved from the beginning. I think Jeff has been to almost every Lunch and Learn. And Jeff, I feel like you've had a big part in helping us build this platform and grow this platform. And Dr. Hall, I think you'll find that the people on the Lunch and Learn will probably be very interactive with you today. And I hope you meet some of them in person at our neuroscience conference this year in November. So a huge welcome and lots of gratitude for everything you do.
Well, thank you so much. I feel very honored to be invited by Dana Huff to this Lunch and Learn. I feel very fortunate to live in San Diego and be in San Diego because primarily the network of different people that have become connected and focused around supporting autism. So I wanted to take this opportunity to meet some new people and to share what we are doing in the Department of Special Ed at San Diego State. And we'll want to use the time really as an introduction, and then we can come back and talk about any of the projects in more detail. But today is an introduction to my colleagues and the work that we're doing, connecting to the community at San Diego State. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see my PowerPoint, and I will be sending this PowerPoint slide to Rebecca so that you will have it. And part of the information on the slides is that there is links. So you don't have to worry about writing things down. All of that will be sent and forwarded to you after the presentation. So I am the fortunate department chair of the Department of Special Education at San Diego State University, and I've been there since 1998. And when I came to San Diego State in 1998, I came with an interest and background in working with individuals with autism. And so there was very little information and very little information in the preparation programs preparing special educators. So we started, I did a survey of what was needed by teachers, and we started with a Saturday course that I developed so that people in the community and students in the program could take this Saturday course and learn more about autism. And when you see what I'm presenting today, the many different things that we're doing, I think you'll be as pleased and surprised as I have at how much we've grown in the last number of years. So when I say we, many times in departments, you might have you are the person that works in autism. But at San Diego State, we have a whole team, and many of the faculty that work there have an interest, focus, and for some, it's their primary focus. So this is the group here of that I'm going to be talking about our work. Jessica Sir Heinrich, Bonnie Kramer, Paul Luelmo, Yasmin Turan Chen, Chris Brum, and Melina Melgarejo, who is beginning as a new faculty member in our department. So we actually have 2 new faculty members, both of them with an interest in autism. Anna Duenas is also going to be joining us in the fall. So this is a fair percentage of our faculty that have this area of interest. So I'm now going to share with you some of the projects that we've been working on and the connection with community. And I'm going to focus on the resources that have come from the projects that are available to families. So the connection with families. I'm going to start with a project that we worked on probably for the last 10 years, which is the Center on Secondary Education for Students with Autism Spectrum Disorders. And this was myself, Bonnie Kramer, and Chris Brum were all part of this project. It was a multi-site project from a Department of Ed grant awarded to Kara Hume and Sam Odom at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And they brought us on to the project as the California site. And we also worked with colleagues in Wisconsin. So we had East Coast, West Coast in the middle of the country. And this was a project to look at high school students and high school programs and evaluate the benefit of some focused professional development for school personnel, some materials focused on key areas. Altogether, we worked in 60 high schools, and this was 20 at each site, so that we worked at 20 in San Diego. And we worked for 2 years with each of the schools that were the schools getting the Sdsu program. And then we also had 10 schools that were a comparison school. And the districts we worked with Oceanside, we worked with San Diego, Sweetwater, and Grossmont. So we worked with those 4 districts, and 10 schools received information and professional development for 2 years on these 4 content areas that can be areas that students with autism may need some extra support or a modified curriculum. So there's the academic, which we focused on reading comprehension, independence and behavior, social, and then transition out of high school to employment. And as part of this work, we collected materials. And so what I'm sharing with you about this work, we've published a lot of papers on outcomes, and probably the key outcome study is in the journal called Exceptional Children. And that has our key outcomes, and that was published in 2022. And Cara Hume is the lead author. But in addition to that, at the website that I have listed on this slide, there is a section labeled Families at the top of the website. And if there's time at the end of this presentation, I'll actually go to the website and show you. But under this website for families, there's a list of different areas. And if you click on that list, so for example, I have supporting physical and emotional wellness is under that list. And under that, there are handouts and conference presentations related to that topic area that are downloadable, that anyone can have access to. They're free resources. So here you can see there are 3 different, what we call at-a-glances. They're 2 to 4 page, nicely presented informational brochures that talk about topic areas. And then on the last page, they list resources for follow-up. So here are some examples that are found under supporting physical and emotional wellness. We have information about eating habits, about depression, and about sleep. And in addition, there are others about hygiene, about dating, about driving. So all of those are found underneath the social and physical and social wellness category. And the brochures there are 3 forms of them that you will find there. The one I just showed you, the at-a-glance, like here's another example of an at-a-glance about females with autism. But we also have some peer-to-peer. So it's high school students and young adults with autism giving information and sharing information from their perspective for others that they might find valuable from their perspective. So those are the peer-to-peers. The one I have shown up here is about employment, or the importance of having a job, finding a job, some pointers on that. And then we also have some other materials written for young adults in different formats. Like this is about college communication, how to advocate for yourself with professors in the college, etc. So these are 3 forms of these information brochures that you can find on the website. Again, under these 4 general content areas. So that is the Sdsu project, and we are now finished with that project. We collected information, and but the website is maintained by the University of North Carolina, and we'll maintain that website. And just want people to know, please go use that information. It's really to benefit everyone. Now I want to talk about another project that our faculty is involved with, and this is a state project called Captain. So Jessica Sir Heinrich has been involved in Captain from the very beginning, which has quite a long history. And I've been involved with developing the higher ed connection. And Melina Melgarejo is also involved in the higher ed and developing curriculum and information for families. Captain is a multi-agency network in the state of California focused on autism. So it's a way that we can all stay connected throughout the state of California, meet together, and talk about what are best practices, what are evidence-based practices, what is a way that we can support each other. And I have a flow chart that I would like to show you that shows who all is involved in this Captain network. And you can see here, regional centers send representatives, SELPAs also nominate and send representatives. The family resource centers that are found throughout California, they send representatives. And we're just building the higher ed, and we're trying to get higher ed representation throughout California as well. Individuals like myself, like Jessica Sir Heinrich, who have a focus and interest in autism. And this statewide network, we call people that have been nominated our cadre. And the cadre meet together in regional teams. So we have a San Diego team. Our San Diego regional team has a leader who is Robin Ancona. She works for Cajon Valley School District, and she is our regional team leader. And she organizes meetings for the cadre members nominated from all of these areas, and we meet together. This year they have decided let's design goals for the regions that are relevant and agreed upon by regional members as areas that the region wants to focus on. And for San Diego this year, it is in learning more about and supporting mental health. So this was the area that came together as the focus. So you can see here again the regional center, the SELPA, the family support, and higher ed. And it's really an exciting network because most of the agencies, most of the cadre members volunteer for this, and they work in the schools, they work with families, they work as part of the regional center, and come together sharing information that can benefit everyone. There are two meetings. There is an annual summit. It's a 2-day summit that happens in November, and everybody comes together and has a conversation, has some professional development activities that are planned. Usually there's about 2 to 4 sessions that are relevant and information that gets shared with the cadre members so that we're all up to date on what is happening in the field. In the last meeting, we hired a consultant, an autistic adult named Patrick Dwyer, who's given us a lot of very valuable information, and we have had seminars and PD for the network on supporting neurodivergent adolescents and adults, as an example. Now, the Captain website also has resources, and resources that we are hoping that educators and families will get access to and use. So there is a section on this website. It's on the right. At the right of the website is a list of different links, and there's one that's called Families and Family Support Personnel, Tools and Resources. And if you click on that, there's a whole lot of resources that you can find. And I've just pulled up a few for this page. They happen to be with young children, but the resources are for all across the age span. There's also when you first click on the Captain website, you'll see that there was an emphasis focused on addressing issues around COVID, distance learning, and then also going back to school, COVID and health precautions, things like that. And those resources are found both in English and in Spanish. So on the family website, these are 2 examples of learning the early signs, effective transitions for young children. There's also a link that says, have a question, ask a specialist. So there is someone there that will answer emails from families. If you have a question and you're not seeing a resource, or you have a question, that is a service provided by Captain. Also, there's an effort effort to make sure that the materials are culturally relevant to serve the families in California. So as an example, increasing caregiver awareness and access has been a focus of a grant that was awarded to Melina Melgarejo and Jessica Sir Heinrich, and they've worked together to create materials for families. And they created a 3-part series called Navigating the System. And this series is found in the 4 languages that are most common in California. So English, Spanish, Tagalog, and Vietnamese. Again, each of those parts are found on the website, and you can click on them. They're on YouTube, and they're provided, the information are provided in the language, in one of those 4 languages. And this, as I shared before, when you first go onto the Captain website now, you'll see a Padlet, and it says, here's some information that you can have about learning about and addressing COVID. And there are many resources in English and in Spanish. And this is one resource that you can see that's very visual with pictures that you could download, and you can also use that's most relevant and individualized for someone that you might be supporting. Now I'm going to go on to another project that we're working on. Very, very proud of Jessica Sir Heinrich. She and a colleague from UCSD, Lauren Brookman-Frazee, they wrote a grant to the Department of Health Administration, or HRSA, and they were funded to be a LEND program. Now, there are about 26 LEND programs throughout the United States. And these are programs that provide additional information, training, professional development to groups of individuals. So these LEND programs are leadership education in neurodevelopment and other related disabilities. And there is a LEND program in LA. There's also a LEND program out of San Francisco State, so UCLA and San Francisco State. So when Jessica and Lauren Brookman-Frazee were writing the grant, they wondered if they would give a 3rd LEND program to California, but they wrote a high quality proposal, and it was funded. And their LEND program focuses on autism. So that is one thing that was different about some of the others, is kind of the area of emphasis. And this was funded this year. They've gone through 1 of 5 years, and they select a group of fellows each year to come together with varying time commitments. And Paul Luelmo is a mentor. He's a faculty member at San Diego State, and his picture is in the middle, and he is one of the mentors for the fellows. And Janice Chan is a lecturer at San Diego State, and she is one of the fellows selected this year. So she went to a lot of the professional developments, and she went to the trainings. She also did a project, and her project was looking at how campuses could be more supportive of neurodivergent students. So she did a lot of her work. She did some surveys, but looked at college campuses to see, and she even created an info sheet that could be given to faculty about things that they can do with their syllabus and other aspects of the courses and campus environment that may make the college experience more supportive for their autistic students. And the purpose of this is this interdisciplinary sharing of information. And one of the major participants of the LEND program are family members and autistic individuals themselves. So they are selected as fellows, and side by side with people like Janice, who's a lecturer, or others that are there to get more information about autism. So maybe they're in a related service discipline, but they don't know as much about autism. This provides that opportunity. So this slide shares a little bit more detail about who's involved. So graduate and postgraduate trainees, practicing professionals, family members, and autistic individuals. Family members and neurodiverse individuals are critical contributors to the San Diego LEND program, and they also complete the training over the 1 to 2 years based on their preferences. So this will be going on for another 4 years. And if you are interested in participating or nominating someone to participate in the LEND program, please let Jessica Sir-Heinrich know. In fact, I think they're in the process now of selecting their fellows for next year. And there's a fair number of them. I think this year they aim to have 39. So that's a lot. So each year they get a fairly large group, and not everybody participates at the same intensity. So it really can fit in with your own availability for participation. The goals of the LEND program: develop expertise in autism and developmental disabilities, and join a network of local research, clinical, and community experts. Develop leadership skills to promote equitable access and evidence-based and culturally responsive care for individuals. Receive mentoring from LEND faculty. As I said, Paul Luelmo is one of the LEND mentors. And collaborate with faculty and trainees to improve services and clinical outcomes in San Diego and Imperial counties, because that's where the focus is. I just wanted to share with the group that Jessica Sir-Heinrich said she'd be happy to come and talk about either Captain or the LEND program, or both in more detail for the Lunch and Learn, if that's something that this group is interested in. So if you are, please let Rebecca know, she told me she'd be happy to do that. We have a new project in the department. It's a grant-funded research project called Project Express. And this project was funded by the same funders that Sdsu was, or the high school project. And we have similar collaborators. This time is with the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill only. And it is a multi-site project, and we're working together. We are in our first year, but it is a project focused on evaluating 2 16-week programs that were designed for middle school students with autism. And both of these programs have been implemented and have been evaluated, and there's data showing effectiveness in a clinical setting. But not so much work has been done in schools. So we're here to try it out in schools, take a look at feasibility, and evaluate effectiveness in middle schools. And so the 2 programs are the Peers program, which focuses on peer relationships, designed by Liz Lageson at UCLA, and Unstuck and on Target, which focuses more on executive functioning skills like planning, organizing, being flexible, going with the flow. So these are 2 different areas that could help middle school students with autism. So the project is supported by a grant, and we are just getting started. We piloted this year in 2 schools in San Diego, and altogether over the next 4 years, we're going to work with 37 more middle schools. So they're 1-year projects. In the fall, we collect some data on sort of baseline data, and then in the spring, they get randomly selected to be a peers program group, or an Unstuck program group, or a comparison group. And then we evaluate, they implement the program. We coach school personnel, so we don't go in there and do this. We are preparing the school personnel, who then provide the strategies, provide the program, and they get all the materials. And if the group is selected as the comparison school, they get to select which one they would like to have the training and the materials in for the next year. And then finally, I want to share work that's been going on since 2003. So in 2003, I wrote a grant to the Office of Special Education Programs, U.S. Department of Ed, that was funded to provide scholarships to students, but also develop a master's degree specialization in autism. And this program was funded. We developed the program that has been in existence now since 2003. This is a 2 years master's degree program that is a 30-unit program, and it embeds the coursework needed if you would like to become board certified as a behavior analyst. So we have applicants in the program who are primarily interested in getting board certified as a behavior analyst, and we also have those special ed teachers who have come through our program and received a special ed teaching credential and now are doing their master's degree, and they take classes together. It's one program. Since 2003, we have received 6 grants to support this program and provide scholarships and to develop the program further. The OSEP program is now really wants the program to be collaborative, wants it to be interdisciplinary and share across different professions. So we currently have 2 OSEP funded grants that are providing scholarships for students. We have one that's called Beams, that Bonnie Kramer is a collaborator with Katina Lambros from school psychology. So we have school psychologists and special educators being prepared together. And Mainsail with Yasmin Chen and myself as collaborators with Sonia Pruitt-Lord from speech, language, and hearing. So these are the 2 interdisciplinary programs happening right now. So the BEAMS program means that we are preparing school psychologists and special educators together in San Diego with a common focus in autism, so that when they graduate from San Diego State and have had a scholarship in this program, they are much more prepared to work together. They have a better understanding of what it's like to work in an interdisciplinary way, and they have a better understanding of the different professions and the role that each profession serves related to serving our students with autism. They also attend conferences together. And here's a picture from the clinic, the speech language clinic. These are 2, when speech language pathologists and special educators came together to work together on campus for the students with autism. They also take classes together. They also do practicum together. And we went to a conference together. And this is a quote that I thought was really interesting from an interview I did with the speech language pathology candidates. She said, being able to be in Mainsail opened my eyes to the need for collaboration. It's not just a me job. It's when we come together that makes a difference for the students and families. I did not know about the special education role before Mainsail, and this may be surprising, but we prepare each of these disciplines very separately at the university. So it really takes something like this, the grant and the push from the Office of Special Education Programs to bring us together. And our students have learned a lot about what speech language pathologists do, what school psychologists do, what social workers do. These are all interdisciplinary grants that have been funded at San Diego State. And so this means that in the schools and programs around San Diego, hopefully we have personnel that have been prepared with this interdisciplinary focus, not only from the OSEP grants, but also from the LEND program. And then my final slide are the email addresses of all of these different people with the pictures of which projects they're involved in. And this is what I'm going to send. I'm going to send this whole PowerPoint to folks that you can have that. But maybe you're interested in the CISA project and interested in transition. You could email Bonnie Kramer. So you can you can have that contact information as well. But I see, considering the time, I'm not going to go to the website myself, but I think I've given you enough enough information about where to find the information, particularly for families, on the PowerPoint, and perhaps we can use the last 10 minutes to answer questions.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Dr. Hall. I want to go ahead and open it up to anybody who wants to ask Dr. Hall a question. I did see some in the chat first, so I'll start it off. Amanda,
Okay.
thanks for joining us. It's nice to see you again. Amanda from Brain Balance San Diego. It says I love Project Express. Absolutely needed. Why in middle school and not elementary? Which schools are you doing the programs at?
This is I'm so grateful for that question, because we don't know which middle schools we're working on, because we're in the process of recruiting. So I can and especially if people here have connections to middle schools. We worked for our pilot. We worked with Cajon Valley, and they were incredibly supportive. We worked with 2 schools in Cajon Valley, and we may work with a few more in upcoming years. And then I'm in the process right now of working with the research and evaluation person in Sweetwater, and to get approval, because it's important that they evaluate the materials and make sure that whoever's doing research in these schools are providing the proper consent, and we provide consents and assents for the students to be involved, so everyone that is a participant is doing so voluntarily. I've also sent the information over to the research office at San Diego Unified School District. But we are in the process of recruiting, and in the next 4 years, we'll be working in the 37 middle schools. Why middle school? Because there has not been a lot of attention to middle school, and it's a time when these skills are really emerging and developing to be being very important. They're also important in elementary, but we thought that this is an age range that has had less attention, so we wanted to focus on middle school. And there is also considering the general development. This is a good time to be focusing on executive functioning skills and peer relationships, because of the age range that the students are. This is an important period of time to focus on those areas.
Great. She also said in the chat, San Isidro would likely want to participate. Does she send them your way?
Please do. So really what I need, I'm happy to, we need principal approval. Now with the principal, we identify who is going to be the implementer, and implementers could be the speech language pathologist, school psychologist, counselor, special educator, the person that's going to run the program for the 16 weeks in the spring. So I'd like to know about, if there are principals or schools that might be interested. I know it's a challenging time for schools right now because of personnel, but we can look at it as a way of, we are going to give the materials, we give coaching and support. People are not left on their own. They have a scripted, they have the 16 lessons already planned, so in that way, it could be helpful rather than an extra thing to do. So yes, please, the person at San Isidro, please send me any information, and particularly the process of getting accepted for research in San Isidro.
Love it. Great questions. Anyone else? You're welcome to unmute yourself as well. Jeff, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hall, for presenting. So I posted in the chat wall that I am a rising self-advocate and public speaker in the community that really kind of specializes in transitioning in schools, like IEPs, that sort of thing. So I don't know if you ever want to collaborate at some point in the future. I would be more than happy to. So.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. Absolutely. And I would, encourage, there's 2 connections with our faculty immediately. So certainly Bonnie Kramer, if you haven't been connected with her, I will share your information with her as well. And also also Paul Llewellmo. Those two faculty members clearly have a connection. There's many ways in which you could collaborate. Bonnie, we happen to have in our program a course in transition. So all of the special educators that are going to work in the K through 22 schools have a course focused on preparing students for transition, because we think we need to start with those. We need to start with lots of things in kindergarten. So it's not, you don't wait till someone is 16, and that's what we share. But the focus of that is on transition and transition plans, et cetera. So I will let Bonnie Kramer know for sure. Thank you so much for that information.
Very welcome.
I love it. And side note, Bonnie actually was one of our liaisons for our National Charity League Girls Mentor Program. In 2019, we have a partnership with them since 2009, and her daughter and herself were one of our liaisons. So we do have Bonnie's, so if you mentioned Rebecca Autism Tree, she'll probably remember me.
Yes, for sure. And I love it. And I know that Dana Hoff is thinking, oh my God, this is just exactly the thing that she was hoping, is all these, it's like we weave a web of interconnectedness that just strengthens what we have here in San Diego. And I really, I find that so valuable.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're on our second generation of children, and I think it's just critical that we have this, that it is happening, and so I know we both welcome it, because it's just been a long time coming. And I don't know about any of you on here, but one thing that's really been present for me and my husband Todd with the foundation is just seeing that as much as we had such challenge as parents to navigate the system 20 years ago, we have a complete awareness of what we're seeing with the new families coming in being more challenged because of the crisis with direct service providers, which they call the DSPs. I'm hearing that's a 911 just in our county alone, let alone the country. And it's, causing our families not to be able to get the diagnosis is taking longer, getting the services is taking longer. So it's really a blessing if we can collaborate much more, as much as possible at Autism Tree, because we want to focus doing more for our families than we ever have, because we see the need is absolutely there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another question from another mom. She said, does SDSU have transition services for their ASD students?
Rebecca, can you repeat that? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Oh, sorry. Catherine, hi Catherine. She says, does SDSU have transition services for their autism students, ASD students? Dr. Hall, do you have a comment?
So I guess I would want just want a little bit more clarification as far as for students that are university students at San Diego State. This is is the question: do we have transition services to help them find employment, transition after they finish university? Is that the question? Catherine?
You can type it in the chat or unmute yourself, Catherine.
Could I just say hello, Dr. Hall? This is Sandy Weber.
I saw you there. I almost said hi, Sandy.
Transitioning into the university.
Getting into the university.
Because it's a big change.
Yeah.
Maybe like an orientation type of thing, or for incoming students.
Oh, for incoming students. I would say this is an area that we can certainly improve upon. We have a Student Ability Success Center. It's been renamed, but this is the center at the SDSU campus that some students who elect to go to if they would like to get accommodation for any aspect of the university. And if you contact them, even as even as someone is applying to SDSU, it can be helpful. If they know you're applying, there's a lot of ways in which they could be helpful. So I would recommend that that services, that program that contact is made with that program. Having said that, we're taking, Patrick Dwyer wrote an article on how campuses can become more neurodivergent friendly, and we're doing a fair amount right now. We're trying to look at ways in which we can do even more to transition to San Diego State, but also the other that I asked about. We have a career services entity on campus, but I don't know how much career services knows about autism, and I don't know what they're doing in particular for and Sandy's shaking her head, not. But this is something that wouldn't surprise me, and it's something that it's a goal of ours, is to do better on our campus both incoming students, supporting students when they're there, and then helping them with the transition to career once they leave SDSU.
We did utilize the services there
Okay.
for Eric, and he signed up in there, went through a kind of an orientation, and then he had accommodations. He had an old IEP, took that, and he had accommodations for test taking, went to a special place for test taking, quiet room. And so there was a process for individuals with autism and disabilities, but you had to go to that center.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much, Sandy. And we had talked last week about Sandy and Eric doing their own lunch and learn, because she's a wealth of resources too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I nominate for sure.
But we are about at time. So if anybody has any additional questions after the fact, you can always submit your questions to me at rebecca@autismtreeproject.org. You can email them to me. I can forward it to Dr. Hall. She also included her contact information in the slides, and we'll include it in the recap email, so you can reach out to her directly too. But I'd love to take a group picture. It's tradition for us to do it every week with our group on. So if you
would love to see everybody's beautiful faces. This is part of our history of our whole Lunch and Learn series.
Thank you,
everybody.
Okay, I'll do a screenshot, so I'll do a little countdown as well. Ready? Yay! Ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese. So thank you so much again, Dr. Hall, for
this. Dr. Hall. Thank you, everybody, for coming out too.
Take care, guys.
We'll see you next week.
All right, take care.